Wow, what a difference a year makes. Now, SummerSlam 2023 was just before the official start of the Triple H era, but Paul Levesque was pretty much in charge. The business had gotten hot again, but it wasn't quite what it is now. And I like the show, like being the operative word. However, I found it a slight letdown from some of the PLEs that preceded it, and definitely not the best SummerSlam I'd ever seen. Fast forward to last Saturday, August 3rd, SummerSlam 2024 was at Cleveland Brown Stadium in, you guessed it, Cleveland, and I was impressed. How was I impressed? Well, this is my SummerSlam review. Welcome to Silo Voice Wrestling on YouTube and the Silo Voice Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jason C. McLean. Of course, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications to get all my wrestling hot takes, cold takes, simmering takes, assorted thoughts on Raw and SmackDown, wrestling opinion pieces, predictions, and of course, WWE PLE reviews like this one. Now, I'm recording this August 9th, Friday, like about half an hour before SmackDown. So I've already seen Raw. That might color some of my opinions, but I'm going to do a separate video about Raw and about this SmackDown. I'm a little bit behind, but I've had all week to digest this show. And I want to jump right in, but first I want to say that on the SmackDown, we had 2 tag team title matches. I was surprised that Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill didn't get their titles back against Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, but maybe they're setting up a reasonable feud, to build another team. Maybe they're setting up 3-on-3 matches. I was not surprised that Tama Tonga and mainly Jacob Fatu of the Bloodline won the WWE tag titles. And I did a whole video about why I thought they would. So you can watch that. So yeah, SummerSlam was at Cleveland Brown Stadium. Started off with Triple H to a massive crowd pop. He introduced Jelly Roll. Now, I'm not that familiar with Jelly Roll, but he's a good performer. I liked it. But then to kick things off with the matches. For the Women's World Championship, the champion Liv Morgan defended against challenger and former champion Rhea Ripley. This is one of those matches I was thinking could main event, so it definitely was a very hot match to start the show with. Let's talk about what happened. Rhea walked to the ring all lovey-dovey with Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Liv came by herself. There was a lot of staring. After Liv tried to escape Rhea a few times, Rhea started dominating. That was until Liv rammed her shoulder into the turnbuckle, the same shoulder that kept her out for a few months. Rhea fought through it, but it was quite clear that she was injured. In fact, this is some top tier selling from Rhea Ripley. I believed she was really injured. It also helped that the shoulder kind of looked out of place. But throughout this whole segment, I was like, is she really hurt? Did she really hurt it again? And how's she still wrestling? No, that was just really, really good selling from Rhea Ripley with her face, with her voice, her movements, everything. Then in an oh my God moment, Rhea rammed herself into the announce table and popped the shoulder back into place. Liv was scared, brought a chair into the ring. Rhea hit a riptide. Almost was going to win, but then saw the chair and went for it, stopping Rhea from making a bad decision. Dom grabbed the chair, didn't let her use it, and got knocked off the apron for his troubles when Liv kicked Rhea. With all that selling of the shoulder, I had almost forgotten the whole Dominic angle, and the way Dom was behaving here, I even started to believe that maybe he was on Rhea's side and he wasn't going to betray her, despite what I had said in my own prediction video. But of course, that would not be the case. Dominic would slide the chair into the ring, distract the referee, point to Liv. Liv would give Rhea the oblivion on the steel chair. 1, 2, 3, and still. The announcers did try to sell it as a possible mistake again, but Dom put that to rest first with a smirk, then by picking up Liv, giving her a kiss. The two of them walked out hand in hand with Rhea devastated. It's here where Michael Cole had probably one of the best lines of the night. Dom, you no good, two-timing son of a bitch. I love it how the announcers are getting a little bit more aggressive, at least on PLEs, especially Michael Cole. Also, I think it's interesting to note that this is being considered a Dominic Mysterio heel turn. I mean, it was a heel turn, but he was a heel before. He was actually one of the most hated heels in the company before, and he actually is now even more of a heel. It's an even more heel turn. I think that's great. Okay, so what did I think of this match? I'll do my grading first. For storytelling, A+. For in-ring work, in-ring storytelling, especially for Rhea's selling, I'd say that's a solid A. For the actual spots and stuff like that, I mean, in-ring work, Rhea's excellent. Liv, still not quite there, but she played her part very well. I'd give that maybe a B plus. And for crowd reaction, I'd give that an A plus. I guess I'll average it out. Let's say it's an A, and it's a great start to the show. Yeah. I really think this was a great way to develop the story. They're bringing it to the next level. They're setting up things for the next series of months leading up, I guess, to we're headed towards War Games, Survivor Series. There's going to be some other PLAs in between, but they finally broke Dom with Rhea. Rhea can now be a massive babyface. Liv and Dom can be the heels. They're going to get, Liv is going to get Dominic Mysterio level heat now. She wasn't before, but now she will. And I think the way they weave this into the match, the way they almost hinted that it wasn't going to happen pretty strongly, with Dom actually doing some, I mean, yes, you can see now there's an alternate reason for him grabbing the chair, but the simple fact that he was doing it, it really looked like he was trying to help Rhea until ultimately he wasn't. Like, I knew it. But of course, they got me. And the sheer Rhea with the selling, with the banging the shoulder into place, I believed she had actually really hurt her shoulder again because of how it looked. And that was amazing selling. And I when she banged it into place, I'm like, wow, Rhea Ripley is probably one of the best talents out there. She's definitely one of the most popular, not just among the women, among any talent. And I think now she's ready to go on a massive baby face run. There's a second part to this story coming up, and they hinted at that backstage with Damian Priest getting mad at Finn Balor, accusing him of knowing it. And of course, Finn said, no, I don't. And Damian believed him. We're going to come to that later. But yeah, this match, excellent way to start the show. Next up for the Intercontinental Championship, the champion Sami Zayn versus challenger Bron Breakker. This was definitely the shortest match on the night. Apparently, it might have got its time cut. I'm not sure. It was just over 5 minutes, or between 5 and 6 minutes. So what happened? With a massive babyface pop for Sami Zayn, including a Canadian flag in the crowd, and some barking for Bron Breakker, they locked up. Bron was dominant out of the gate. He never really lost control of the match, though Sami did get some moves in, had some hope spots. He got a blue thunderbomb in, and at one point he had Bron in position for a haluva kick, but Bron blocked it with a spear, then another spear. 1, 2, 3, and new Intercontinental Champion, Bron Breakker. Okay, so for my grading, in-ring storytelling, spots, and general in-ring work are both an A+. Story is kind of a basic story, B-, still decent. And I guess crowd reaction, a B. So I'll average it out at a B. Now, I don't think this match was too short. I think it was the length it needed to be. But I also think because this match needed to happen the way it did, the previous match between these two at Money in the Bank needed to happen as well, too. Yes, you can show Bron Breakker being dominant and beating Sami Zayn in less than 6 minutes. But in order to do that and build Bron but not hurt Sami, a month before that, you have to show Sami Zayn winning in probably a longer match. So Sami Zayn didn't lose his first Intercontinental title match against Bron Breakker, but he lost the second one. I think that's exactly what you need to do because Sami's going on to other things. I did a whole video, and I mentioned in other videos how I think him and Jey Uso are going to take the World Tag Team Championships next. But anyways, I think this match did what it needed to do. The work in it was excellent. There were some big moves, some high spots, some really tough fighting, great in-ring storytelling. And even though I'm a huge Sami Zayn fan, I was okay with him losing this one. And I think it is Bron Breakker. I think Bron Breakker is probably going to keep the Intercontinental title for a while. And I think this was a good way to do it on the big stage. Give Bron that win at SummerSlam, but also show how Sami, it took at least 2 matches for Sami to lose. Good job. For the United States Championship, the champion Logan Paul against challenger LA Knight. Yeah, the champion entered first, accompanied by Machine Gun Kelly. The only comment I'll make on that is he absolutely looks like someone who would hang around with Logan Paul. LA Knight came in second. First, he drove up in the prime truck he had stolen from Paul the previous night, decided to smash the window, came out to the ring to a huge babyface pop. They fought outside, even cleared off the announce table and did an announce table spot before the bell even rang. During the match, Logan pulled off a jaw-dropping springboard moonsault to the outside. Both competitors had control for a bit, But of course, it culminated with the typical getting his buddy to hand him the brass knuckles, which Paul did. He hit Knight, but when he went for the pin, Knight jumped up, hit the BFT, 1, 2, 3, and new United States champion, LA Knight. The story here was decent, though a bit formulaic, so B-. Same thing for the in-ring storytelling. It was good. Maybe could have been a little bit better, but it was still good. For the actual physicality, just for that springboard moonsault alone, A, and crowd response, A+. Overall, I'd give this match a B-, but I'm glad I saw it. What happened needed to happen. It made sense how it happened. Logan Paul tried his usual cheating, his usual fancy stuff, but LA Knight saw an opportunity, took it, and finally he has that mid-card title, which he should have had, I think, a year ago instead of going after Roman Reigns. But you know what? He won it off a very unpopular opponent who got booed in his own hometown. Everyone loved to see it, and I'm looking forward to see where LA Knight goes next. So yeah, this was a really good third match on the show. Then for the WWE Women's Championship, the champion Bayley defends against challenger and 2024 Queen of the Ring winner, Nia Jax. Her Majesty Queen Nia came to the ring looking great, crown and all. Bayley arrived to a massive babyface pop. Nia did dominate a lot of the match, but the champ looked strong too, even kicking out of an annihilator, suplexing Nia Jax, which isn't easy to do. Hit her with a rose plant in the Bayley to belly, which was equally impressive. As everyone thought, Tiffany Stratton ran out with the briefcase before she could cash in. Bayley knocked her off the ropes. The challenger took advantage of the distraction, slammed Bayley to the ground, brought her to the corner, and hit her with 2 annihilators, 1, 2, 3, and new WWE Women's Champion, Nia Jax. Story, I'll give an A. The in-ring storytelling, also an A. The actual physicality, the moves and stuff, it's, I guess, a B+, but it really, mainly some of the work Bayley did in this match was really good. Nia Jax also looked good with the worked annihilators. Crowd reaction, probably an A. I guess overall, this match gets an A. It was a good match. I as far as the story, I kind of knew Nia was going to win. I didn't think Tiffany was actually going to cash in on her. And I like the way that they had Tiffany come in as though she was going to cash in and get knocked out. So you don't know if it really was a ploy, if it really was, helping out her buddy by distracting Bayley or not. I think she really was trying to cash in, but we're going to find that out later. I definitely want to see Bayley as champion again. I really liked how her character evolved, especially near the end of the title reign. It wasn't the most stellar title reign. Not what I think I was expecting when she actually won it. And I think Nia getting the Queen of the Ring and then the rocket ship strapped to her back is a good thing. We have a heel champ. Well, we have a babyface champion for the man on SmackDown and a heel tag team champions, babyface US title holder LA Knight, and now a heel women's champion. So SmackDown's balanced. The match did have me guessing. It had me guessing if it was actually going to go the way I thought. Bayley was impressive. I think this was a good way to end the title reign. It was probably one of Bayley's best matches in this current title reign, except for maybe the one where she won it from Io. So yeah, this was a solid match. Happy with it. Smack dab in the middle of the show. Next up, for no title, just hate, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre with special guest referee Seth freaking Rollins. Or so we were led to believe. I think my new theory is that this match was for something, not for a championship, but for CM Punk's fan-made bracelet that Drew McIntyre stole and didn't want to give back. So what happened? Rollins came out in his jeans and bedazzled referee outfit. He also made the crowd keep singing his song before we started the match. That was an incredible build-up. In the early goings, there was a lot of back and forth. Both competitors looked strong. We had Drew complaining about a slow count. Punk was down. Drew got a chair, told Rollins just to look away and all their problems would go away. Rollins did, but then turned back, grabbed the chair from Drew, swung at Drew, but almost hit Punk and stopped himself. This, of course, was the expected tribute to what Shawn Michaels, The Ref, Bret Hart, and Undertaker did at SummerSlam about 3 decades ago. And it was fun. Punk took over. hit the go to sleep on Drew McIntyre, was going to pin him, but saw the bracelet, took that off instead. Later, Rollins picked up the bracelet, and when Punk had Drew pinned later, he saw the bracelet and stopped pinning Drew, hit the GTS on Rollins. Drew hit him with a low blow, pinned him, and Rollins reluctantly counted to 3, and having won the match, Drew took the prize, the bracelet, and of course celebrated his victory. Okay, this one's getting an A+ across the board. It was extremely entertaining. The crowd was really into it. The physicality was good. The physical storytelling was, of course, great. Physicality was good. Punk was a bit rusty, but it really didn't show. It didn't show. I mean, he was maybe not as fast as Drew, but he was fine. Seth was fine. This match was excellent. I love how the bracelet has become so important. I love how they've managed to tell an amazing story centering around a little trinket, a little fan-made thing that goes around the arm. I know it symbolizes more than that. Seth's involvement was fine. He wasn't the world's greatest referee. He missed some counts, but you know what? He's not supposed to be. He's Seth freaking Rollins. And I loved his involvement. Drew, Punk. Obviously, this story's not ending. I mean, I have seen Raw. I know Seth is sort of out of it for a little bit, going to do something else, but we'll circle back to that in the Raw review. But yeah, no championship on the line. The bracelet had all the symbolism. This is a story they've been building for months, and they delivered, and it's going to continue to deliver. Excellent match. Next up, for the World Heavyweight Championship, the champion El Campeón Damian Priest versus challenger and 2024 King of the Ring winner, the Ring General Gunther, aka part 2 of the Judgment Day SummerSlam saga. So what happened? There was a big match feel from the start. Priest, clearly the babyface. Gunther, clearly the heel. They've been doing some work building that up over the past few weeks. Gunther was strong out of the gate, but so was Priest. There was a bit of a back and forth chop contest, and Gunther's chest actually busted open, and he didn't even notice it. He had to see it on the screen, and that was the first time this match the screen would play a part in it, play a bigger part later. Finn Balor came to ringside, presumably to help Priest, but Priest wasn't too happy to see him. A bit after Gunther knocked Balor off the ring apron, Priest was poised to win, but Balor put Gunther's foot on the ropes, so it was only a 2 count, and when Priest got up, he saw it, to his horror, on the screen. He saw the betrayal. His quote-unquote brother in Judgment Day had betrayed him. Of course, he lunged at Balor, but he understandably forgot about Gunther in the ring. Never a good move. Gunther got him in a sleeper hold. He was about to pass out, and that would have made sense. You know, he's betrayed by his brother, and he forgets about Gunther, and Gunther wins. But no, he hulked up, basically. He powered out. The crowd was massively behind him. He was such a huge over babyface at this point. The fact that he might have won the match anyways, but then, of course, he escapes, and he goes right back after Finn. Gunther grabs him, suplexes him again, does the sleeper. Priest passes out. And new World Heavyweight Champion, Gunther. I think this is going to have to be another A+ across the board, too. The in-ring storytelling was excellent. The physicality on both guys was excellent as well, too. The storyline, well, it's the final part of this chapter of the Judgment Day story combined with the first match. Yeah, it's all A+. Crowd reaction, wow. The fact Damian Priest was so over because of the storytelling, because of what happened, it was amazing. And Gunther is a great heel as always. And they set it up so that you can't really, think Gunther's even any less of a champion because of how he won. Yes, Balor did interfere, but he didn't, which obviously cost Priest that one pinfall. But Priest could have not focused on Balor. He could have kept his attention on Gunther. He might have pulled through. But still, Gunther is definitely a very strong, legitimate champion. I think he'll be champion for a while. The one fault maybe I could see is that Gunther wasn't exactly that close to the ropes, and Priest actually had to roll him over. Good ring awareness, roll him over more into the ropes so Finn could put his leg up. Would have been better if he had just fallen in position, and we didn't see that coming 2 seconds before, but it's not enough to take points off. This was an excellent match, excellent storytelling. Very exciting. I almost thought that, wow, Priest might actually win, even though he was screwed over. But no, he had a small hope spot, but ultimately Gunther prevailed. Really well booked, really well done. In the main event for the undisputed WWE Championship, the champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, defends against the self-proclaimed new tribal chief of the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa. And this was a Bloodline rules match as established on the previous night's SmackDown. So what happened? Okay, Solo entered first. Entering Solo, obviously his cohorts were going to come in later. Then Cody, the entrance started on his bus. He gets off. He pets Pharaoh. Pharaoh's last journey on the road with Cody. That's his dog, by the way. Dog's just going to live the home life for the next little while. Camera follows him. He runs into Arn Anderson, who we didn't even know was in WWE. Arn tells him, you have some friends and they're coming. Cody puts on the same American Nightmare skull mask he wore at WrestleMania. Makes a huge entrance to a massive stadium pop and big match feel with a stare down at the beginning. Quite a solid back and forth wrestling match at first. Cody looked strong. Solo showed that he had been studying tapes and he knew how to counter some of Cody's moves. Got some Samoan spikes in there. Then the Bloodline rules kicked in, first with Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. They attacked Cody. Kevin Owens came in to attack them. While Owens ran down, Randy Orton sort of sauntered down, slapping hands on the way, but still gave an RKO in the ring. Owens, Orton, and the Tongans fought off through the crowd. Cody remembered that Bloodline rules meant he could use objects, so he brought the steel steps into the ring, hit Solo with them, tried to do it a second time, but Solo speared him. Jacob Fatu came in, took out Cody, cleared off the announce table, splashed Cody through it. This, of course, did damage to Cody, but looks like Jacob hurt his foot as well, too. Now, it was really good selling, or he might have actually injured himself, or a bit from column A, a bit from column B. I do think it was selling because it was rather convenient. It got Jacob out of the way for what was to come. Solo got Cody back in the ring, went for the spike, and who should show up but the OTC, I guess, original tribal chief himself. That's what it said on the shirt. The head of the table, Roman Reigns, to an amazingly massive babyface crowd pop from the stadium. Roman took his time coming down, but when he got to the ring, he immediately hit Solo with a Superman punch. Then after the whole crowd chanted, "Hoo-ah!" with him, he speared Solo, left the ring, walked a bit down the aisle, turned back to watch Cody staring at him, hit the crossroads, 1, 2, 3, and still your undisputed WWE champion. Okay, crowd reaction, A+, especially for that Roman pop. That was amazing. Overall story was the Bloodline story. It's a great story, a little predictable here and there, so an A. Physical storytelling in this match, well, I mean, I'd say A-. The actual in-ring work and the moves, maybe like a B. So overall, this gets an A-, but still, it was incredibly memorable strictly for that Roman return. I think Cody's moving out of the Bloodline story for a while. Roman and Solo is going to be the next feud, and we're heading towards War Games with our OG Bloodline, the babyface Bloodline, led by Roman, versus the heel Bloodline, led by Solo. Maybe The Rock's going to be part of that too. I think we all know that. Anyways, this match was, okay, it wasn't my favorite match of the night, but it was an amazing main event. And the Roman pop, that was like, wow. I'm just impressed at the fact that in a few months, the Triple H regime has been able to do something and then some, get Roman Reigns over as a massively popular babyface, something that the previous regime couldn't really do in 8 years. They had to, I guess the massive heel turn helped in being away as well, too. I'm okay Paul Heyman didn't come back with him. That might be too much because Paul Heyman's return, that's going to be another big one coming down in the future. Solo's getting better. The Tongans were okay. KO and Randy Orton are always great, but of course we kind of knew they were coming. Jacob Fatu, now, if he was selling, that's really good. I think keeping him away from Roman, not having him have that interaction with Roman was the key reason for it. So maybe it was, although Triple H in the press conference after did imply he might have been hurt. If he is, Get well soon, Jacob. You're great on screen. We definitely need you, but if that was just selling, great job. And the ending, that's how you make moments. So that's my review of SummerSlam 2024 from Cleveland. My grade overall, it wasn't perfect, but it was damn near close. Some of the matches were decent or good. All the matches were at least good. Some of them were excellent. Let's say an A. I'm kind of getting used to this grading system. I don't know. Do you agree with my opinions? Do you have different ones on some matches or maybe on others? Do you like my grading system? Do you think it's worthwhile I do it at all? Not really sure. We're just trying it out. Let me know in the comments. Follow at Silo Wrestling on X, at Silo Voice Wrestling on Instagram and Facebook, and me at Jason C. McLean on X and Instagram. And of course, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. I'm now going to get my assorted thoughts on Raw out, an excellent Raw as well, too. And on SmackDown, they're probably going to come out in succession. It took me a while to get this SummerSlam review out, but I think I was able to do it justice. I really enjoyed the show. Again, what a difference a year makes. Last year's SummerSlam was okay, it was good. This year was one of the better SummerSlams I've seen. And for one of the 4 main PLEs, that says something. I'm really looking forward to the next events. For Silo Voice Studios in Montreal, I'm Jason C. McLean.